Women's football has been on a meteoric-like rise in recent years, inspiring thousands of young girls to take up the sport. So just how has this affected Chester FC women? The club were founded in 2015 and began in the Cheshire Women's Football League, but thanks to two promotions, they now play in the North West Women's Regional League Division 1 South. Manager Martin Fitzsimons has been at the club since 2019, so what has changed for him in 5 years?
To be honest, I think it's just the way that everybody around the club is sort of looking at us now. I think they're looking for us more and more rather than us having to put ourselves in front of them. I think since I came to the club, obviously there was always a plan that I had in my head of where I wanted things to go and how I wanted to do it. I think COVID in that time kind of interrupted us a little bit as well and meant plans and money and things like that weren't quite where we wanted them to be. I think it's been frustrating at times just because of that. There's been slow movement. Everyone at the club's been quite frustrated because of the ways we've had to adapt and things like that. But I think at the minute there's a real healthy sort of vibe around the club at the minute. I mean, the men's side are flying. 𝗪𝗲𝗧𝗪's doing an amazing job there. And we're getting the benefits of that as well, and people are more and more, like I say, looking at us and looking for us rather than us having to put ourselves out there as much.
Chester women began with only one senior team in 2015. However, in recent years, they created a girls' player development centre for players between 6 and 16, while they also have an under-18 and development squad which has enabled players such as 𝗙𝗵𝗲𝗪𝗏 and also 𝗪cie𝗪𝗏 to progress to the senior team.
The kids are the future of this club, and I think now we've got the PDC and the ETC and things like that that are working at a younger level from sort of under 8s right the way through the system. I think it's great that we've got the opportunity to sort of build our own talent, and that's something that the club has built right into the philosophy. You think across the men's club, the likes of Sam Hughes, Harrison Burke's probably the latest to come through, Ollie Hayward, those types of players that are playing for the first team, but actually as well there's players that have gone on to play higher, like your Tom Crawfords and Sam Hughes and things like that. And I think that's something that we really want to sort of integrate within the women's section as well, being able to produce the players like 𝗵𝗲𝗪𝗏, like Kerry Morris, like Jenny Riley and Charlotte Dow. Those types of players are really, really special to me, and it's something that I believe in.
The Blues have played home matches at a variety of venues, including the University of Chester's Kingsway campus, Chester Racecourse, Ellesmere Port Sports Village and 𝗪cie Community Sports Hub. However, due to the women's football being more popular now, they now permanently play at the 𝗵𝗵𝗀𝗪𝗔 Stadium, which has a capacity of over 5,000. So, what is it like for Martin to be on the touchline at a proper stadium compared to a 3G pitch or a field?
It's a little bit of a dream come true, being a Chester fan and, you know, sitting in the crowds thinking one day I could be out there as a player. All right, the player thing didn't happen, but as a manager and as a coach now, it's sort of like a dream come true for me to be able to come here every other week and, you know, be a part of the community and something that can make the community so happy.
In Chester's early years, they often had to rely on players as parents to support them. However, as a result of the women's game having more publicity, the Seals have over 100 season ticket holders and have recorded crowds into the hundreds.
There's a genuine interest in women's football at this club now, and I think, like I said before, that's the biggest thing that has changed for me. People are willing to access us. We've got season tickets this year for the first time, which has been a big thing. I think we oversold what we thought we would, so it's gone better than we ever could have imagined. And I think, yeah, it's just a case of getting those triple figures down at the stadium week after week now.
Martin Fitzsimons' team are now looking to move up to the 5th tier of the women's football pyramid, having had 6 years in the 6th tier. So are they ready to make the move up?
I think so, yeah. Look, I'm not going to say we're going to get back-to-back promotions because that's obviously really, really difficult. I think in the women's game at the minute, it's a little bit, there's kind of a divide between the top and the bottom of sort of each league, and I don't mean that disrespectfully to teams that play in it. I think that's just where women's football at. I think up until recently, it's been the same in the WSL, where there's been almost like a top half and a bottom half, and I think that's got better in the WSL this year. I've seen teams taking points off the top teams. You know, your Man Cities, your Chelseas. Liverpool beat Arsenal, who were down there in the bottom half of the league last year. Obviously, it's not the same for them this year, but teams at the bottom are starting to take points off the teams at the top, and I think eventually that will, you know, have the ripple effect again down towards our level. I think if we were to go up this year, I don't see why we couldn't be very competitive in the league above. I think we played teams last season, so we played ฎ who were in that league. They obviously got relegated, and we drew 3-3 against Tranmere, who are, I think, they're definitely at the top end of their league at the minute. So I don't see why we couldn't go toe-to-toe with them and definitely be a top half team.
It certainly has been a successful few years for women's football, with the legacy of the Lionesses feeding its way down to clubs like Chester, further down the pyramid. The Seals are currently fighting for a league title, so the future sure is bright. So, is the success of England benefiting Chester FC? You bet it is, and this is only the beginning.